What's up, everybody? It's your boy Keith, aka Launchpad 1412 in the Matic community. And we're here today with episode 2 of why this movie is in my collection. And this movie right here that we're going to talk about is Mortal Kombat. I believe this came out in 1995. I couldn't believe I found this on Blu-ray. I found this at Second and Charles. I think to most people around the world that would be considered a secondhand store. But yeah, I found it. It was the only one up there. I was like, oh, I got to get this immediately. I had it on Blu-ray. Oh, my goodness. I would never get Annihilation. Annihilation was horrible. But the Mortal Kombat from 1995, whoo, this was... I'm going to see if I can try to paint a picture, okay? At this time, you had other fighting games. So you had Fatal Fury, you had Tekken, Killer Instincts was somewhat popular, but nothing on the planet was like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Those were the top two tier versus fighting games. Like at that time, probably still is the top two, to be honest. I mean, the Street Fighter came out with Part 6. Mortal Kombat's redoing their thing with Part 1. I don't think there's I don't know if there's a fighting game, like versus game, that you can compare to those two still, which is kind of wild. Because this came out in 1995. Think about that. It's like this movie. The game, I think the Mortal Kombat game itself came out in like 92, 91, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a little earlier. I'm not 100% sure. But it's just, there's so many things I can say about this movie. Now, when I was younger, this one kid, every year he would throw a party. Every year he would throw a party. It was like in October, the end of October. I used to love going to this. You know how sometimes you think about a memory from back in the day that you just love? It's one of those memories that I just love, and I just give it a hug in my mind because I just remember always looking forward to going to his parties. And I think he invited everybody in the class, and we go to his house. It was always fun, man. It was always like water gun fights and stuff. I don't know if it was water gun fights. I'm sorry. There was just always fun stuff to do, like play the game, just being around. It was just fun, just fun stuff to do. Maybe not water gun, but we played like Nerf guns. So I'm assuming it was kind of cold, but it was in October. But yeah, it was always fun stuff to do. It was I just loved doing it. But the last 2 years that he did it, this when we was really young. I think we was like, I don't see how old was I. I think I was like, when this movie came out, I was like 12, I think. So maybe a little bit younger. But I just remember the last two times he did it, he played this movie in the background as we played. And I remember the first time he played it, I could not get my eyes off this movie. Like, I really could not get my eyes off this Mortal Kombat movie. I didn't get a chance to see the movie theater because I was just too young. My aunt wouldn't, she wasn't going to allow me to see it. I don't think she even wanted me playing Mortal Kombat, even though I did anyway at my older cousin's house. But when I think about this movie, I think about that memory because I remember I just could not get my eyes off of that movie, man. Like, for real. Like, it really was like pretty deep. On top of that, another memory I have of this movie was just when I was younger, about 13, 14 years old, at my mom's house way back when. My mom, she had got this on VHS, and I I played this movie like repetitively, like to the point where it got on my cousin's nerves. She was like, "Can you please play another movie?" You know how sometimes you just feel in a movie so much that you just keep playing it and playing it and playing it over and over again. This was like one of those movies. You can't say that. I can't say that about every movie, but this was definitely one of those movies that was on repeat. Now, as far as the movie itself, even to this day, I still like it. I still like it. I think it's a fine movie, not a perfect movie. I think I think the way they set it up as far as like a tournament style, where you got to fight to the death, I thought that was awesome. My favorite character of this movie, I think it's safe to say, it's a coin flip between Luke Kane and Johnny Cage. I guess it depends on what day you ask me. But I think I'm gonna go with Johnny Cage for now. He was hilarious. He was funny. You know what I mean? And Luke Kane, he was like the leader. I like rating. People clown rating a lot when they do reviews on this movie. I like rating this movie. Now, it wasn't the rating that I particularly wanted. His character it was a little weird that he couldn't use his powers in the other realm, but then he could. It was a little at certain points because he does. he just tell those one guys when he goes, I don't think so. Then he has a little bit of electrocution, so maybe he can just do sparks. I guess he can't actually like use it on them, but he can scare people with it. I don't know. I don't think this movie needs like a super like breakdown, of the movie. And I don't think you got to get all technical and break down all the technicalities and all that. But overall, man, I still at 40 years old, I still enjoy this film. I watch it at least about 3 or 4 times a year for sure. And just cause even if I just have it on while I'm editing videos and stuff. Um, good film, man. Good film for its time. It was way better than the Street. I'm actually more of a Street Fighter fan versus a Mortal Kombat fan, but this was definitely better than the Street Fighter movie with Van Damme that came out. But I don't even think it's even close, to be honest. And this is definitely better than Annihilation. My Annihilation. I'd rather watch that Street Fighter movie than Annihilation. Whoo, that was really that bad. And didn't have Johnny Cage in it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But this movie, it's a cult classic, man. It's a cult classic, in my mind, and it's something I will always cherish. I will always cherish the memories I have with this movie, and it's why it's in the collection. I just love it, man. Your boy.